Welcome to the Luxe Leap, where bold women turn ambition into action. I'm your host, Reland Logan, and together we'll explore the big moves, smart strategies, and extraordinary branding behind unstoppable businesses. So I have a question. What if your business didn't have to die just because your marriage did? Amy Kelly is a strategic life and business coach for women navigating life after divorce, and she is known as the grounded CEO of your life. After surviving a high conflict divorce at just 27, Amy went from rebuilding in her childhood bedroom to living a regulated, remote income life in Costa Rica, with over 40 countries stamped in her passport and hard-won wisdom behind her brand. With 9 years of experience behind high-level CEOs and a business built on emotional truth, spiritual depth, and practical strategy, Amy helps high-achieving women go from survival mode to grounded, glowing, and unshakable. Her signature program, The Grounded CEO, is a transformative blend of the nervous system regulation and business reinvention. Because Amy knows the real power move is rebuilding your business from the inside out. Today, she's here to talk about the identity crisis no one warned you about after divorce, why so many ambitious women are secretly dysregulated, and how to rise again, stronger, softer, and fully in command. Please welcome the powerhouse helping women become CEOs of their life, Amy Kelly. Hey, Amy.
Hey, thank you so much. That sounds so good. I love that.
I'm just here to ensure that you feel as fabulous as you are. So
That's
that
so
is
cool.
one of my number one goals as we do these podcasts. You guys feeling amazing as you are for the people you serve is what I am here for.
Mm-hmm.
But as we dive in, and I know a lot about your story from just us interacting together, and we kind of shared a little bit in your intro, but what inspired your Luxe Leap, that bold move that started your journey from ordinary to extraordinary?
Yeah, thank you. I think for me, it was a bit of a journey of like self-discovery. I think, as you mentioned, I did go through an early divorce, which, definitely wasn't something I could have anticipated or how I was going to see my life. But that is part of life, right? You don't see these things that are going to come through. And obviously, it was devastating at the time. I didn't think there was going to be anything else out there for me. I thought, that's it, my life's over. How am I ever going to come back through from this? But I had an inner knowing, like an inner voice that when you're in that darkest moment, which I would say is probably one of my darkest moments in my life so far, is either you stay here and you stay stuck, or you use that as your momentum to go forward. And I was out with my dad, and I vividly remember this conversation, and he was like, Amy, you've got to do something with this. Like, you have to kind of go and live a life that was always kind of meant for you. And it really stuck with me because, like I say, I went off on a very shortly after, I didn't really heal for very long. I literally just left, and that was my moment of, I need to go and restart my life. I need to go and find who Amy really is, because when I look back, I realized how lost and kind of felt like I'd failed at my life, and I had to go and do something for me, which was kind of drastic, and move away and restart. And that was my leaping moment, I would say, of really finding who I am.
That is beautiful, because so many women stay stuck in that space,
Mm-hmm.
and they just continue to shrink and don't know how to find themselves. So,
Yep.
you shared a little bit about your personal story and how that influenced the brand that you built, but what was that moment you realized your brand had momentum, that people got it, like they understood where you were coming from?
Yeah, I think when, I started traveling, this big part of my journey, I went through like Central and South America. I was very solo for a year, where I'd been with someone for 10 years. It's a bit of a difference. And from there, I started to meet a lot of like-minded women who I did, again, I hadn't been exposed to this. So again, I've been in my same town, my hometown, all my life. So when I did start to meet other women similar age, some had been divorced too. I thought, wow, I'm not alone in this. Like, this is not a me thing. I wasn't on the world of social media back then. I wasn't really out there, telling my story. And every woman that I was kind of speaking with were all trying to leave something. They were leaving behind a life that wasn't meant for them, that they were following someone else's path. And I started to see a trend. I was like, okay, the women before 30, especially for my age group, that were realizing that they weren't actually meant for that life, and that they wanted more from the lives that they were living. Yet somehow they always kept going back to that. I always saw them like, yeah, they wanted to do it, but they never actually did it. And then they would go back. And even to this day, I still see them there. For me, it was like, no, I've got to keep going. As hard as it was, keep you grounded, keep going. And I knew that I had to take this, and I saw that there was a lot more women than I realized who needed this support, especially at the younger age of, in your 20s and 30s.
It's true. I mean, you and I both can't, well, we can imagine if we chose to, but we
Mm-hmm.
don't know what it's like to be 40, 50, 60. We
No.
just hear from women that age that we have so much more life to live and we have so much going for us.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a certain level of this is our here, this is our now.
Yeah.
And that feeling of, mine wasn't divorce, but I've had that feeling of like, how do I
Yeah.
move forward this relationship's my entire life?
Yeah.
Like for me, I had a kid. It's like, where do I go?
Yes.
How am I supposed to take care of this other human? And this leaning into like that inner fire that says, oh no, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to keep going because you can keep going because everything behind you has proved to you, you can get up and keep going again.
Yeah.
And, when you're interacting with women who feel like they can't keep up and keep going
Mm-hmm.
again, how do you meet that moment?
I think it's bringing them back to themselves, and it's so easy to say that, but it actually is really hard in the moment to even think about yourself, right? I know we're in a bit of a different place, we've moved on, but especially that woman right now who's feeling so lost that they're trying to do 100 things at once, just like I was. Maybe you were too.
Yes.
That everything felt so overwhelming. I need to know where I'm going to live, a job, career, house. The list will never end. So I start with asking them, where are you at? What do you actually, how are you actually feeling? Tell me how you're feeling. Get back to where we are in this present day. It doesn't matter the past right now. I don't work with like the past. I work with the here and the
Yeah.
now and what we have and what we're dealing with and how we can start moving forward with you and your best interest and how you're really feeling, to regulate yourself first before we even consider the business, the career, the house, where we move into. Because you're gonna make decisions like I did from a very survival mode instinct. And sometimes aren't the I mean, I haven't always made the best decisions in them last years because I was in a not in a great place. I mean, it's took me years to get to this point where I'm regulated, I'm confident, and I appreciate that. So I think getting back to you is the most important thing.
I love that. And you're right. It is harder than just saying it. Like
Mm-hmm.
the work it takes to unravel the trauma
Yeah.
is hard work, especially when you are like trying to figure out just basic survival things.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to, I don't even want to say push forward because you need the space to be able to move forward. And you can't do that unless you return to yourself. So pushing is
Yeah.
not the solve.
It really isn't. No.
So interesting, fun question.
Mm, I love
How would you
that.
describe the unique energy or essence of your brand in one sentence for somebody who's stuck and but needs a light forward?
Yeah, that your current situation does not determine the rest of your life. I thought it did. I thought exactly where I am right now, that is it forever. That is it. There's no way I'm ever going to get out. Like the cloud is so dark that you can't see a way out. And there is. There is eventually, even if you can't see it right now, that light will show.
Beautiful, beautiful. So transitioning into your business and like really
Mm.
focusing in here, I love the work that you're doing for women, especially younger women,
Mm-hmm.
because we're also not young women anymore. You know what? That
Yeah.
just made me think of Britney Spears. I'm not a girl, not yet a woman.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
beyond that. We're women now. So
Yeah. Somehow we got here.
how I got to that song, I don't know. One of these days,
Yeah.
I'll make a playlist of all the random songs that came to mind during podcast times. But
Yeah. I love
when
that.
you, Amy, when you think about visibility, what has been the hardest part and what has finally worked for you?
In the business.
Yes.
Yeah, I think being so authentic, being super honest and open about my story and being vulnerable, because I'm not here to like gatekeep, like this is not like a big secret. This is who I really am. And I think one thing that really helps me is I'm very honest and very truthful. And kind of, especially with my clients is telling them the truth. And sometimes it's hard to hear the truth, right? Especially in that moment. and almost being like that best friend, that mentor, that person that you kind of need in your life who's been there, gone through it, and says, okay, you can do this because I know you can, and I've been through where you are right now, and I know what it takes, and I'm here to walk with you. And sometimes having that voice of saying, I'll walk with you, just makes everything so much easier, right? You know, for you, me especially, I tried to do everything alone at that point. I tried to stand on my own 2 feet. I proved to everyone I can do this. But sometimes you have to ask for help. You have to put that hand out and say, I can't do this anymore. And I hit my breaking point again after the divorce because, you know, you're always trying to act so strong. You try to be strong for everyone else because everyone's looking at you. Everyone's like, is she
Mhm.
okay? Is she okay though? And admitting that you're not okay at some point in that journey is one of the best things that you can do for yourself.
That's amazing. And I love that. Just like the idea of like even, you know, there's so many parallels to business
Yeah.
and this conversation that I I want other people to hear that part.
Mm-hmm.
Is there's so many parallels to how we have survived as women, but also recognizing that we need each other. Like we need each other
Yes.
in a big way, and it's okay to ask for help, but it's also okay to show up as your full self. I
Mm-hmm.
will I'll let everybody know, like, me and Amy met because we showed up as our full selves on the internet all the time. Like, we were commenting on each other's stuff, we could relate to each other's stories, and those things were us showing up as our authentic self. So when we got on a call together, there was no there was no trust gap. Like, we were truly like, "Oh, you really are like you are on the internet." Like,
Yeah,
cool.
exactly.
So it's you have to have that level of vulnerability to put yourself out there and to ask for help because
Mm-hmm.
doing this alone is gonna be very hard.
It is. I know. I've
Very
been there.
yeah, we've both
I
been there, we've both done that, it sucks.
It really does.
So, when you're kinda moving f oh, excuse me as I hit everything over here.
Yeah.
Kinda looking a little bit in the now, maybe distant past, what
Mhm.
decision or strategy most contributed to your growth in this past year?
I think definitely seeking some kind of support. I mean, as we touched on, I think getting a mentor or a coach or someone who maybe is in business because I don't have like any family or friends who kind of are in that realm. So I was like, I need to start seeking that from others because people have wisdom. They want to share it with you, sometimes for free. You know, I have friends in who have businesses that are very successful or can give me advice about life and why I'm feeling this way and hitting my barriers and my blocks, and don't sit there in silence about trying to figure this out yourself. And if it's not like something that you want to focus on, find something that is one of your barriers. What is it that's holding you back right now? It could be emotionally, physically, financially, something. Have a look at what that is and try and find somebody who can help you in that area because it was a game changer for me and moving forward in every aspect of my life, not just in the business side. It's obviously my personal side and how I come across and how I've become so much more confident.
That is amazing and beautiful advice because, I think I go and I like you, I seek those places where I can be with other
Mhm.
honestly, mostly other women, but I am in spaces that also have men, but
Yeah.
you need them whether it is paid or it is free, like, you need those to feel like almost in a way you're sane because
Mhm.
being a business owner especially is not the same as being somebody who goes to work every day. There's a lot of highs and lows. There's a lot of
Yes.
self-reflection you never knew you needed.
Yeah.
And I just giggle because I spend most of my time with people who are entrepreneurs now that sometimes I will have conversations with folks who are not, and I'm like, "I
Um.
don't understand
Mhm.
anymore."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You do.
it's go for
You
it,
see
Amy.
how yeah, you see how much you've grown. Like I, especially, you know, I don't live in my hometown anymore. I'm in a different country, and um, you know, when you do go back, like one of my first times I was away from home for like 12 to 18. No, it was about 18 months my first time. And when I come back, I was like, I realized how much growth I'd had in that amount of time. How not different, but the version of myself who was always in there, but almost needed activating. And that meant stepping outside my comfort zone. And that's when I really stepped into my higher power that was that version of me that was always there.
That's amazing. And yes, you have to put yourself in places where you are uncomfortable. Now, maybe not flying across the ocean. Maybe we're not as
Mm.
awesome as Amy, but you still have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Definitely, yeah. And I don't say that lightly. I don't recommend just flying away to the other side of the world because obviously it can make or break you, really, it can. And I think sometimes it really did. Not having family and friends around trying to go through that next chapter is not it's not easy.
No, sometimes you got to break to rebuild. And then
I agree.
hardest, nicest way possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, Amy,
Exactly.
you're a coach, and there's a lot of coaches out there, friend.
Mm-hmm.
How do you differentiate yourself from others in your space without feeling performative?
I really just don't pretend to be anybody else, and it's really not that hard. Some people are very over the top, like this is what I'm doing. I'm very honest with you. This is who I am, and this is how I can get you to that next place, and I will stick with that because that's why it's called a grounded woman, the grounded CEO. Because in this, you get what you see, right? I'm not trying to be that other person. I'm here to be your bestie. I'm here to be your mentor. I'm here to guide you through. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to say you have to do this thing, follow that path, and that's the only way you're going to get there because I don't believe in that. What it is it's tailored to that specific person. And that's what I think most of the coaching misses. Now that the people get so big, it's like you follow this path, that's where you'll get, and that's what business you're going to have. And I'm like, but that doesn't work for me because I'm an intuitive, I'm an empath, I'm a manifesting generator. I have all these things that make me Amy that is missed in the big coaching world. So for a client, it's like, let's find out who you are as an individual, not as a number or a person. I want to find out about you and how I want to help you grow.
There's beauty in one-on-one.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I I feel that way. I mean, that is why my process is one-on-one. I think, as I'm building, by the time this comes out, the membership will exist. So as I'm building like daily dollar collective, like there's still an element that's so one-on-one. Um,
Mm,
that I only wanted to create that membership for accountability on daily actions, not for teaching people how to rebrand or things of that nature, because that is an individualized
yeah.
space. Like you can't, I can I give everybody frameworks? Sure. But do
Mm-hmm.
I personally hate cookie cutter brands and cookie cutter anything on the internet? Absolutely. So I can't, from an ethical standpoint, do that.
Yeah.
Um, unless there's a magic way that I could figure it out. But I
Mm,
I always think of like group programming for me would be I'm going to teach you the frameworks of things to build and like how to grow
yeah.
the business and build the
Mm-hmm.
brand, but not the actual branding itself. That is such a one-on-one interaction, just like
Yep.
coaching should be a one-on-one interaction. Um, maybe there's something to be said about starting to learn how to build memberships and collectives from an accountability standpoint and
Yeah.
not necessarily a coaching standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. There's like power in a group of women, like in the future, I want power hours with women as a group, as a collective, to share ideas, what's working for you, and helping them grow in that way. But as a transformation experience, which is what I'm offering, it needs to be me and you. It needs to be at you need my full attention, and I have energy. Right, we all work with energy, so my energy needs to be in the highest capacity that I can to support you in your growth. And as a group, that's missed because some people hide behind, which I did. I've been in a group container. You hide a little bit.
You
You
do.
don't step into your power. You just don't do it because it depends on your personality too.
It's also scary to be vulnerable in a group space when you don't know people like that. Like when you're new,
Mm.
and to your point, like that transformation is very, very difficult. Not to throw people under the bus here, but like I'm also very open about the things that I do not like on the
Yeah,
internet.
and that's
And
fine. Share your opinion.
it's, that's how we make our businesses better. That's how we
Hmm.
differentiate ourselves. But I was in this challenge, or I'm technically in the challenge, but in
Right.
this challenge, and it's like you're going to learn how to do these things, and it's an hour on day one of them selling the next thing that they're trying to fill. And there's like no value, none of these things, and they
Mm-mm.
are coaches. And it's just kind of like, are we coaching or
But
are we selling? Because we cannot
exactly.
serve and sell at the same time.
Mm-mm. And yeah, exactly. And I think that's what's kind of missed. And what I've realized in this world is like, no, well, I know what I don't want to be, right? So thank you for showing me, because you've showed me what I don't want to be. So now I know how to be better. And that's
Yeah.
one thing that is, we're here to give value, we're here to educate, we're here to, the whole point of starting this was my reason why. The reason why is to not see my younger version of me, younger Amy, struggle the way that I struggled, because it's so hard, right? And I want to make it a little bit easier, and find that woman before they're even at that breaking point, because it's not a good place to be.
Oh, it's not. And I love that you go for that and you're all in, and you're just you have high integrity in that space, Amy, and that
Mm,
shines through. So I appreciate that about you.
thank you.
You're so welcome. So you've kind of answered this in many ways, but I'm going to ask it directly because, sometimes we just need that really bomb, like, snippet so we can put it on the internet as a reel.
Mm,
But what
love that.
conversations or messages do you want to be known for leading?
I think fear is a really important and close topic to me, because I think I played it safe way too, as my in my younger life, not to do any changes or drastic. And now I love fear. I work with fear like directly. I'm like, come on, like give it to me. What are you going to throw at me? Because I'm going to push you straight through. And that's something I want to mentor, especially younger women. We play in a like, play in a safe space for way too long, and then it's too hard to get out of. It's like, oh, I can't, because it's not for me. And part of this and part of my coaching is like dreaming big. Like that's my podcast. It's like, how can we dream as big as possible? Because we've lost that chance to dream, whether you're in a heartbreak, whether you've gone through a divorce, whatever that may be. For me, dreaming was like impossible at that point. So I think remembering that you're allowed to dream and that your dream isn't too big. You don't have to play small for anybody. You don't have to hide behind anyone else's dream, which is what I did. I played small for other people and not listening to your own intuition and own voice, which you have and you need to share with the world, because people need you as well.
1000% agree.
Hmm.
I fully know what it feels like to make yourself smaller because
Hmm.
it makes other people feel better.
Yeah.
But damn, does it feel really good to not feel that way anymore.
Yeah, it is. Stepping into your power, like, not we are in our power, but there is some women who aren't there yet, and they will get there, but with support and guidance, they can get to that point where they're shining. That inner glow that you have from yourself that you can't shake. Nobody can take that away from you.
No. And everybody deserves to feel that. And that's
Hmm.
a beautiful thing to want to lead the message on. So, how do you define success for your brand today now that it's evolved since you began?
Definitely seeing women light up in their journey, seeing them have that moment of, I've got this, like, oh wow, like that support that you've given, that is second to non-value. Like there's value in that. Like you have walked that path, Amy, and you're so much more confident that that's why I resonated with you. That's why I'm here on this journey. And I think hearing them, in that moment when you're having the, like, coaching, or it could be offline, and they're just like, oh wow, like this value, or seeing their own value, their own moment of clarification. It's like, yes, this makes sense. This is why this all happened, and this is why I'm moving in this direction, because it is so important that they remember who they are in this journey, because you can throw them a strategy, you can throw them any business tactic in the world, but unless they realize their own power and come back to themselves first before we do anything, that's the best thing to get out of this journey, because I know that I have so much to give, and I'm so passionate about this and helping other young women on their journey.
That's beautiful. And I love that that's how you define success. It's not about the numbers or anything. It's about somebody like finally unlocking that part
Mm-hmm.
of themselves. And that is a stunning thing to use as your lack of a
Yeah,
better word,
and
metric of
that's
success.
yeah, no, I think that's really important. And obviously, there is financial side to this, but for me, I even said this for me is not a financial reward. This is something that I've been given to. This is part of my uh path in life. This is what I've been given. And I will shout till the right people hear it, because I've been given a voice that I need to share with the rest of the world.
That's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
So, if someone listening is standing on the edge of their own Luxe Leap, what advice would you give them?
Take the first step. You have to take that step. I know it's hard. I know it can seem overwhelming, and sometimes you don't even want to get out of bed, right? You can't stop crying. It's really overwhelming, and any step will be the first step in your direction. The step that you take within yourself, that inner power, like we said, bringing that power back to you, is one of the hardest things that you have to do. But once you do that first step, the next step then becomes easier, right? So it's taking that 1% guide in that whatever that may be for you, whether that's, showing up after calls, whether it's going doing an activity that you love. It can start with the smallest thing, but taking one direction towards your future self will help you and give you that courage, that belief, that knowing that you can trust and listen to your own voice again.
Oh, beautiful, Amy. That gave me chills. So, what's next for you? Or what's the
Oh,
next big bold move that you're making?
yes. So I have a podcast too. So I often have interviewing guests, but I think I also need to make sure I'm still sharing my story on that because I think it can, we have guests, but also sharing my voice. I'm just launching, actually, it'll be next week, the new cohort, which will be coming out. So it's called The Grounded Woman. And I can only take so many women, obviously, as I want to keep it deep personal work that I have to use a lot of my energy. So I'll only be taking 5 women at
Nice.
within a 6 month period because it's deep energy, it takes a lot of work, it's a lot of spiritual work. I'm very intuitive, which I've realized in this entrepreneurial journey how intuitive I am and using that as my almost my superpower. And yeah, and then hopefully 2026 I am here in Costa Rica, so setting up for a retreat or a session here in person would be my absolute goal, to show this beautiful country and why it's been a part of my healing journey, and share that with others. Because yeah, it's a very beautiful, magical place.
Oh my goodness. For those of you who can't see Amy because you're not watching on YouTube, maybe just run to YouTube instead of this, unless you're driving, of course.
Yeah.
But Amy is literally glowing. She has like the best tan.
I
I'm so jealous, because it's so cold here.
I
But
know.
at the time of recording, it's November. So,
Hmm.
and she looks, well, we're about even on skin tones right now. So that tells you something. But she looks incredible, everyone.
Oh,
You just,
thank
maybe
you.
we all need to go move to Costa Rica.
Yeah, I would highly recommend.
Well, for anybody listening, I know that this is a brand new format. It's the first time that we have switched it up and how we're switching it up moving forward. But the things that I'm not going to get rid of are my favorite 2 secret questions that I never send anybody.
Mhm.
So, Amy, are you ready? Like it's a game show.
Oh, I love
They're
this.
not scary questions at all. And you're definitely not winning a prize. But
Yeah.
what does a day living a luxurious life look like to you?
Oof, I love this question because it's a really powerful part of me and in creating this new space for myself. I love to start my morning super powerful, so taking time out for me. I don't look at the phone, laptop, nothing. Um, Being restful, being very mindful of the morning, having breakfast with my partner, having a slow morning, whether it's an activity, and not rushing to a laptop or an internet or seeking socials before I need to, until I don't need to, like, and having that in my day that's part of my flow. When I feel energized to work, that's when I come into my state of flow. And then afterwards, going to watch sunset if I'm here in Costa Rica, and just really trying not to be in that anxious state, that, like being in that stress state, is when I need to relax and take time out. Really listen to your body, listen to your intuition, see where you need to pull back, because otherwise you'll just keep pushing in the wrong direction.
Oh, so beautiful. Just
Mm.
the idea of space. Um, I would have
Yeah.
to wake up earlier. I will be honest. I take my space at night. Being
Okay.
a mom throws a little bit of a
Yeah.
wrench in that.
Yeah, no, I
Like,
appreciate that. Yeah,
the
definitely.
eat your breakfast.
Yeah,
Get
exactly.
satisfied. I'm such
Yeah.
a nagger. In one word, what is your primary motivation in business?
Hmm. Just one word.
I
power,
know.
finding their inner power, like your power, if I can say that,
You
activating
totally
your inner
can.
power,
Like
activating
if
your
I had
inner
to shorten
power,
it for marketing purposes, I'll say power, but like you can say finding
power.
your inner power.
We all have power. We all have that power, which we lose, after heartbreak and divorce, which is my, where I'm at. It's redefining that and refinding you in that power.
It's beautiful. And you're doing such an exceptional job. I know it's in a journey and like you're constantly evolving, but just hearing your story and seeing where you are today, like you are doing incredible, friend.
Oh,
So keep
thank
it up.
you. I
You're so
appreciate that.
welcome. Of course. Well, everybody, I hope you just enjoyed the joy and the energy that is Amy. She's an absolutely incredible being. And by the time you hear this, it'll be close to her launching her second cohort. So it's definitely somewhere you need and should be. But if today's episode has you rethinking about how you're showing up and you're ready for a brand that actually turns heads, I'd love to invite you to book your Brand Muta Brand Breakthrough. It's my video deep dive brand audit that helps you see exactly what's working, what's not, and what needs to shift to attract champagne clientele. So you can grab your spot at graydigitalmktg.co/brandmuta-review. Also, let's be real here, y'all. It's in the show notes. So if you tried to write that down or rewind it, let's stop what we're doing and just scroll to the bottom of the show notes. But it'll help you start turning clarity into confidence because let's be honest, vanilla opinions don't pop bottles. I love you all so much. I hope you have a brilliant week and can't wait to chat with you next Thursday with another incredible woman. But for now, let's say goodbye to Amy and see how you can connect with her. Amy, how can they connect with you?
Yes, please head to my Instagram. Is probably my most active socials. It's Amy Kelly Coach _ and reach out to me. Everything will be on there, or head to my website, Amy Kelly Coach too.
I love it. All right, y'all. Well, you heard it from her. Go check her out, and we will see you next time on the Luxe Leap. Bye, everybody.
Bye.